Surfing isn't religious in one sense, but it's very religious in another sense. It doesn't give you religious answers. It doesn't tell you whether Christianity is true or Hinduism is true, but it gives you a religious experience. It's not an accident that the barrel of a wave is called the Green Cathedral. It doesn't look like a cathedral, but it feels like a cathedral. It feels holy. It feels as if there's something from the other side of the universe coming through, the fundamental energy of existence. All forms of energy, and everything is made of energy, are in the form of waves. So a wave is a kind of an icon of the fundamental force that there is. So even atheists feel holy or lifted up into the holy when they're in a wave. I think it's very difficult to be an atheist at sea. My name is Peter Kraft. I'm a professor of philosophy at Boston College. That's an intellectual prostitute. I sell wisdom for a fee, and Boston College is my pimp. I'm here at this beach house to give a kind of retreat in writing to prospective surfers in the form of a letter. I'm convinced that there's a deep connection between surfing and spirituality.
I see the power and majesty of the ocean, and it reminds me of the power and majesty of God. And I see the beauty of my surroundings in the sky and the clouds, and that automatically makes me think of the beauty of God. And because we're sinners, even though we're walking towards our goal of heaven, we sometimes have setbacks, or we stumble and fall. Surfing's like that because, when you're paddling against the waves, you have to keep paddling. If you stop paddling, you're just going to get pushed all the way back to shore. So you keep paddling, and maybe a wave will come right against you, and it'll push you back a few feet. But that's okay. You advance 20 feet, get pushed back maybe 5. Advance another 20 feet, get pushed back 5. And that's really what our spiritual work is like. There's a good dose of humility, I think, in surfing. Sometimes you wipe out on a wave and you swallow salt water. And it's a reminder that there are forces greater than you.
Hi, my name is Father Gabriel Gillen. I'm a Dominican friar with the province of St. Joseph. Even as a kid, when I was out surfing in the ocean, I'd feel the presence of God. I felt this playfulness of God in creation. I'd go down hoping there were waves each day. I remember praying as a kid for waves, and anytime there were waves, I really felt like God had answered my prayers. When you're surfing and you have a great day and you're out there enjoying everything, thankfulness just springs up from your heart. And it's kind of odd to be thankful and not have anybody to thank. And I think that's what automatically happens when you're out surfing. There's so many times surfers call it being stoked. You just have a wonderful day. You're walking back from a beautiful day at the beach, and this feeling of gratitude springs up from your heart.
I'm Giselle, and I'm from Australia, but I'm living in LA now. Surfing has always been at the top of my list, and also just to really experience Hawaii and the Hawaiian culture, and also to grow stronger in my faith. Just in ordinary daily life, whether you're in the water or you're walking on the beach, that you can really just be with God in those moments and really thank Him and offer up your joys and sufferings to Him.
Hello, my name is Ricardo Cabrera, or Ricardo Cabrera. You can roll your R's if you want. I was born in Mexico City, grew up in Guadalajara. I came on this trip to have a great experience. First time in Hawaii, it's always like a dream since I was a kid. All this concept about surfing in Hawaii, learning to surf in Hawaii, and then being in contact with nature and have this experience of God.
Hi, my name is Linda. I'm a uni student from Australia and I'm 19 years old. And I came on this camp to learn how to surf and to somehow get back on track with my faith, get some sort of like support just from anywhere that I can.
If you're not a surfer, I want to make you one because I want to share this love with you. If you are a surfer and you don't realize what surfing is ultimately all about, namely it's got something to do with God, then I want to open that door for you. Because life is more than the land and surfing is more than the sea. In fact, the sea is to the land what God is to everything. The surrounding ultimate mystery. I want to write a book or a letter or a series of them to potential surfers to become surfers and surfers to become spiritual surfers, surfers in the realm of spirit. If I can get that across, I shall have fulfilled the meaning of my existence. I think the most useful and commonsensical philosopher who ever lived was Aristotle. And Aristotle said there are 4 questions you can ask about anything. And the most important of the 4 questions is what he calls the final cause. Why? What good is it? So the most important question you can ask about surfing is what good is it? What do you get out of it? And Aristotle's answer to the question, what is the good of everything? What does everybody want out of everything? Is happiness. True happiness, real happiness, deep happiness. I surf because I want to be happy. Surfers are happy. You want to be happy? Be a surfer. It's as simple as that. There are 2 philosophies of life. You live to eat or you eat to live. Which is the means, which is the end. Instead of eating and living, let's talk about work and leisure. Do you work in order to have leisure to do what you really want to do? Or do you have leisure just so that you can work more efficiently? Our society is so puritanical and over-responsible about work that it sees leisure as simply a necessary oasis in the desert. I think Aristotle was right in saying it's the opposite. You work in order to have leisure. Leisure isn't just relaxing. Leisure is doing the things that are worth doing for their own sake. Most jobs are done for money. And money is a means to an end. In fact, money is the stupidest possible answer to what is the end of human life, because the essence of money is a means. How can a means be an end? So if you work for a salary, you work for leisure. But surfing is one example of something you do for its own sake. You don't, unless you're a surf prostitute, surf for money. You surf for happiness.
We like to start with a lesson at the North Shore. And the reason we do it there is because we got some professional instructors and nice gentle waves, and it kind of gives the surfers confidence. And we have spiritual talks where we talk about different themes. Well, as you know, the subject of this talk, well, I like to call it a discussion, because at the end, you know, feel free to ask questions and we can talk about it and we can argue about it and fight about it. But you know, the idea of this discussion is to talk about the existence of God, which, as you know, is the very foundation of our faith. Now, the first thing about faith that I think is really important to talk about from the outset is the fact that faith is a gift. Faith is a gift. Faith isn't just something that you decide to have. Faith is a gift from God. Okay, think of it as a lifeline. You know, like you're out there drowning in the ocean, and the lifeguard has to throw you that floaty, right? The circular one that you like to play in the pool. And that circular floaty is attached to a line. Well, that lifeline is our faith, and the one who throws us the lifeline is God. So faith, first and foremost, is a gift. Okay, I believe that our camp is an apologetics camp. You know, our main audience is young adults, people who've been exposed to the faith, who maybe have some deep questions, who maybe even have doubts about fundamental things like the existence of God, or you know, the church. How can we even trust the church? You know, is organized religion all a bunch of hooey? Whatever deep questions that young adults might have that maybe they're afraid to ask their parents. Over here, in an informal atmosphere, they can, you know, deal with those. Maybe not always out loud, but at least think about them.
Stoke is a special word that surfers use for the special high or happiness or mystical experience or out-of-body experience that they seek and that they get in a great wave. Is Stoke a genuine mystical experience? If you define mystical experience not by its object, but by its psychological condition, I think you have to say it is. Because I would say that an authentic mystical experience has to have God as its ultimate cause and its ultimate object. And you can be an atheist and have an experience of Stoke. So there's no conscious relationship to God. Yet what happens to your soul is it's ripped out of your body. And this cage of ego, it's not the skin that's the cage, it's the ego that's the cage. The bars of this cage come loose, so that you fly free and you either don't know who you are, or you identify with all things, or you identify with the sea, or you identify with this person that you're totally in love with. And this loss of self-consciousness frees you from all fear. And it's a real high. One of the things surfing does for just about everybody, including me, is it's a time machine. It's literal magic. It makes you a little kid again. When I see waves, I want to whoop. There's not much that makes me want to whoop. I lose self-consciousness. I become not embarrassed by screaming and shouting and running into the wave like a 2-year-old. There's a word for it. The Iroquois have this word, orenda. It's a kind of mystical word. It means the spiritual sugar that the Great Spirit put into nature to make it so attractive. It's especially present in the sea and in stars and in mountains. We can't live in the sea. Why do we love it? That power, you can have a name for it. You can call it orenda. You can call it emo.